Have you heard? Kushcon is headed to Tampa this August 6th and 7th. Network with more than 7,500 hemp and cannabis professionals, sample products from more than 300 brands, and take in over 70 educational sessions. Do you work in cannabis or hemp? Kushcon Tampa is the only place you can meet directly with the nation's largest distributors and retailers. Get tickets and learn more at kush.com/Kushcon. Plus, listeners of this show can save 50% on tickets with promo code PODCAST. Again, that's kush.com/Kushcon. See you there.
And that was the beginning of our journey of understanding the power of this raw miracle plant, keeping it raw. And Dr. Rafael Mushulum actually came out in 2019 to back up what we just found out, that when you keep this plant raw, it's 1,000 times stronger. And that's scientifically proven. And so that was it. My son no longer was on the spectrum. Our prayers were answered. Everything we could have possibly hoped for at that time came true.
Welcome to the Miracle Plant Podcast, the show that inspires, promotes, and gives you a daily dose of inspiration from the people who have used cannabis to change their lives in extraordinary ways. Here's your host, Justin Benton.
Hey, thanks for swinging by the Miracle Plant Podcast. I got a really cool presentation for you that I did, and I wanted to share it with you, the Miracle Plant audience. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening. I was actually away this weekend when we do our normal, recordings on Clubhouse at 10 a.m. Pacific. So I'm going to share this really cool presentation. That's actually the 5 secrets to feel like you're in your 20s again in less than 7 days, with a really neat offer at the end. So have a listen. Hope you learned something. Hope you take advantage. And we'll see you next week on the Miracle Plant Podcast. Heal the world!
So I want to congratulate you today, for everyone, for taking action by showing up, by actually sitting here and watching and listening. So that's awesome of you. Many complain, few take action. Today we're going to talk about the 5 secrets to feel like you did in your 20s in less than 7 days without pills or side effects. Hashtag heal the worlders. All right, here we go. So a little about me for you that don't know. Most of you do, but hey, why not? And why you should care. Allow myself to introduce myself. A line from Austin Powers, which he's got that awesome, hilarious, funny, show going on right now, the Pentavra. I think it's on Netflix. So check it out. That's actually a flashback from So I Married an Axe Murderer. So he actually mentions that in the Colonel Sanders. Pretty funny stuff. But my name is Justin Bitten. I am the owner and founder of the Miracle Plant and the 101 Hemp. And I bet you also didn't know that I am a wizard. Remember this?
Clubhouse Wizard. Poof. Hey, it's April.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, that was good old Clubhouse. A lot of you, that's how we met, was in Clubhouse when this whole lockdown happened and the world stopped spinning. And that's how we met. And now we've gotten to know each other a lot bit better. But I'm going to tell you a little story we're talking about how the world stopped spinning. There was this guy, Nicholas Copernicus, who discovered, he was the first one to discover that the sun wasn't rotating around us, but we were rotating around the sun. And it was later on in his life when he released this information. And so he didn't get in too much trouble, but one of his students and mentees, Galileo, was imprisoned for sharing the same beliefs that was actually turned out to be true. Same thing happened here with Dr. Rafael Mushulum. The paradigm, even though it was true, he was imprisoned for sharing the beliefs that were true at the time, but it was so earth-shattering, and the powers that be didn't want that information to get out, or couldn't handle that type of information. So they literally locked him up. And Dr. Rafael Mushulum, who was the first to actually identify and start doing research on cannabidiol. In fact, he did so much research in the 1970s that it had a 100% efficiency or effective rate with helping children who were suffering from seizures or epilepsy. And he released this and published this information in the 1970s. And but unfortunately, no one had really heard about this. These studies got buried. In fact, he came out to California in 2019 to tell the world and actually shamed the medical and the health industry because, this research has been out for 40 years and there could have been hundreds of thousands and millions of lives that could have been helped, eased, and even saved if this information had gotten out. We're going to talk about the power of a miracle plant. Why I'm qualified, that's me there at a conference. And that was actually the same conference that Dr. Rafael Mushulum was at. And we had a booth there. And that was in 2019 at CanMed. And so I have been traveling the world, becoming an expert about this miracle plant and with many different names and how it helps people in so many extraordinary ways. Here's a little testimonial for you.
Wasn't that long ago when my entire body used to look just like my arm here. You see, my son has autism and suffered from severe aggression. And then we found this product, and it completely changed our lives. Now, my son loves to surf and is doing really well. He loves to horseback ride, and it's one of his favorite things, and even enjoys the simple pleasures like dancing in the rain, going on vacation, which we never thought was possible, and just simply enjoying his life every day. We now know that anything is possible and to never, ever give up because our kiddos are capable of limitless growth.
And that is Kristen Selby Gonzalez, and she's actually the president of Autism Hope Alliance and her son Jackson there. It's been a beautiful, wonderful time getting to know her and her family and seeing such incredible progress with her son. And that's how I got into it, was with my son. But before we go there, I want a commitment from everybody that I commit that as soon as I know that this miracle plant is the key to taking control of my health, I will go all in. So say it with me now. I commit that as soon as I know that this miracle plant is the key to taking control of my health, I will go all in. All right, let's do it. Kind of like that old chant with Matthew McConaughey, yeah, get you all pumped up. That was actually impromptu, right, when they were doing it in the movie. So fun stuff. But I want you guys to get committed. I want you guys to get pumped up because I'm going to share with you some secrets that I have figured out and discovered and that I don't want to be a secret anymore. What does it mean to go all in? That is me last year in front of this incredible hemp crop, this miracle plant that you can actually make paper and clothes and plastics and gasoline and all types of things out of this. There's actually over 50,000 uses of this plant. So this isn't like a little baby plant that we're talking about here. These are 20-foot tall stalks, are actually where all that great fiber material and sustainable, renewable energy that we can make 50,000 things out of this miracle plant. At the very end, I'm going to make you a very special offer. So get ready for that. This will give you everything you need to feel like you were in your 20s in just 7 days. And I'm going to ask you for $405, right? Ready? Get out the credit cards. Jennifer Aniston there says it helps her with pain, stress, and anxiety and has all the major benefits without getting high. So a little bit about our journey. That's my wife, Molly, and my son, Shay. And we were living the dream, happy, healthy. Shay was our second born, and everything was great. And then, we had the white picket fence and the dog and the house, and we were traveling jet setters and playing a lot of golf all over the place. And everything just couldn't have been, better. But all of a sudden, right around 2.5, we noticed that something was off. And at first, I was kind of like the dads. Usually we are in denial. We're kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's just a growth spurt or maybe he's just tired. But my wife thought that something else was not quite right. So she went in to get him checked out. And then we got the phone call after they ran some reports and some diagnosis that changed our lives forever. And, what happened was our son, who was healthy and happy, no longer was speaking, no longer was making eye contact. He basically kind of went into a coma. He was in his own world. We couldn't make any kind of communication. All of his skills, we used to play t-ball in the backyard. We used to laugh and play and go to the park. There was none of that. He was just kind of in his own little world. He slept all the time. He was sick. And his diagnosis was a severe regressive autism, which is a neurological ailment, which his brain was not functioning, not detoxifying. And we were in some serious trouble. We wanted to heal our son. We didn't know if it was possible. We tried, cleaning up his diet. We tried, there wasn't a lot of hope or information back then, but we just, we wanted to trust our instincts, which we did. And so we continued to look for answers and see if there was anything we could do to help heal our son. Our biggest challenge was no one had answers to healing autism at the time. Basically, they were just like, cope with it, deal with it. And that wasn't good enough for me, which led me to a conversation at a little diner about a miracle plant with my buddy. He's a cannabis farmer. And we were just sitting there chewing the fat. The place is called Busy Bee. It's a little diner that, those old pleather, booths that have those nickels and dimes or quarters that you put into your own personal little jukebox and, play some Elvis Presley and some all that good stuff. We were just sitting there having breakfast, and he was sitting there telling me about that his doctor friend, Dr. Preston, was going to make a CBD pen. And I was like, what's a CBD pen? I never heard of such a thing. Is that like something out of Seinfeld, like an astronaut pen that writes upside down? I had no idea what he meant. But he said, no, apparently a CBD pen helps with pain. And I was like, okay, where does CBD come from? And he said it came from cannabis. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I definitely inhaled and exhaled in college, and I knew quite a bit about the plant, but I had never heard of CBD. In fact, I think I said it wrong, CDB. But I did what a lot of us do when we find about something new. I went to the Dr. Google and typed it in there. And then I found out that CBD, like I was talking about earlier, was actually helping people with epilepsy and seizures in the 1970s, children. So that was like a huge aha. And I was like, oh my God, you mean there's a plant that is helping a neurological issue like seizures and epilepsy? Maybe by the grace of God, it could help my son with a neurological ailment, which was autism, right? Both neurological, both in the brain. Something was off and with both. And so I called my wife. I said, oh my God, I think I have something. And so we called around, we started researching and figuring out more and more about this plant, more and more about this research. And we were, talking with all the experts, and we started trying some of the products, but we didn't get the success that we were hoping for. Of course, I tried everything myself first before I ever gave it over to my son, because the last thing I wanted to do was to get my son high. And so I kept trying different products. I didn't really see the results. I didn't really get it. It didn't really click until I came across some research from Dr. William Courtney. And Dr. William Courtney was actually the first person that I came across that was using raw juicing cannabis that was actually having tremendous results with treating people with late-stage cancer. And so that's when the light bulb really went off, when you combined the CBD that was helping with the seizures, and then you combined raw cannabis, raw hemp, and combine the two. And that's what I did. I said, let's keep it raw. No one was keeping it raw. Everyone was heating it, isolating it, and denaturing this perfect plant the way it was grown. We should be eating it like a leafy green vegetable. So that's exactly what we did. I grew some hemp out here in Southern California, and we made a real simple cold press, just like you would make olive oil or orange juice. Just press the leaves and the flowers, and out comes like a honey-like substance. And so one day we go to the pumpkin patch after we make this oil. And so we head out there, and we're going to pick some pumpkins for Halloween and all that good stuff, and hayrack rides and everything. And all of a sudden my son starts to have a tantrum, and a big tantrum. And for kids that are on the spectrum, they get overwhelmed, social pressure, they hide, they put their hands over their ears, they scream, and all this types of things. They absolutely do not want to be they don't want to be there. And so my son was hiding under a bench, kicking and screaming. And then I just looked at my wife and I said, why don't we give him some of this? And it was some of that cold pressed hemp oil that we gave him earlier, or had made earlier in that day. And lo and behold, literally 2 minutes later, these are her words. I was there. I say 5, she says 2. But 2 minutes later, he snaps out of it, and he goes off with his sister to go pick a pumpkin. And that was kind of our aha. The light bulb had gone off. And so my wife, she was there, I was there, and then the grandparents were there, and the aunt and the uncle, and everyone was like, what was that? What did you give them? And that was our cold pressed raw hemp oil. And that was the beginning of our journey of understanding the power of this raw miracle plant, keeping it raw. And Dr. Rafael Mushulum actually came out in 2019 to back up what we just found out, that when you keep this plant raw, it's 1,000 times stronger. And that's scientifically proven. And so that was it. My son no longer was on the spectrum. Our prayers were answered. Everything we could have possibly hoped for at that time came true.
Subscribe to Hemper's monthly smoking boxes, and you'll never be caught needing to replenish your stash again. Hemper is hands down the best place to stock up on your smoking supplies, no matter the occasion. Curated with innovative and hand-selected products to ensure you are getting the absolute highest quality accessory for your smoking experience. Hemper's monthly subscription service provides $100+ in value for only $40. There's also a convenient option to receive one every month, one every 3 months, every 6 months, or yearly. Plus, listeners of this show get an additional 10% off the Hemper box or the Hemper XL box just by using product code MIRACLE10. So go to hemper.com, type in product code MIRACLE10, and get started today.
He was just wrapped up in a very successful baseball season. He was batting cleanup, which means he was batting fourth, which is where you put your best power hitter, and only his second season of playing baseball. So, it's just a total miracle, and that's why we call it the miracle plant. And so that was it, right? I mean, that was all we wanted. I went back to living my life and going back to the businesses that I knew, and everything was great. But I knew that I wanted to do something to pay it forward. So what I wanted to do was I had an extra office suite. And so I put up a sign and called it 101, like the highway out here in 101, California. And I said 101cbd.org, so we could pay it forward, give access to the same products, tell the story, tell the same journey. And that's what we did. And lo and behold, people kept coming up these stairs. And so these stairs, it was a second story suite. And so people kept finding us because they would hear about these miracle stories. They would find a documentary or any kind of stuff. And so they kept coming and they kept finding us, whether it was for rheumatoid arthritis or whether it was for neuropathy or whether it was for fibromyalgia or even cancer. The people, they just kept coming. And so when I noticed that this miracle plant was helping people with these severe autoimmune diseases and these very complex ailments, I said, I have got to dive in. Like, I've been spending my entire life in sales and marketing and communication, talking with people and helping people get their message out. Now I needed to help get this message out about this miracle plant. So that's exactly what I did. I sold off all my businesses. I exited out and I said, I'm going all in on this miracle plant until at least the world understands that you can rub this plant on your sore shoulder or wherever you have pain, just like we think about aloe vera and sunburn. So that's what I've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years. And that's what I'm doing here today. It's educating you about this miracle plant that helped my son and now can help you or a loved one with even something as simple as just normal everyday aches and pains, stress and anxiety, or getting a good night's sleep. Those are the top 3 reasons that people do come and seek us out. So like I said, who is this for? This is for people in pain. Over 54 million Americans suffer from arthritis, which is pain and inflammation that builds up over time. Some of it's hereditary, some of it's the food we eat, the water we drink, and just living our lives the way we do. That pain and inflammation can set in. It's also for people that are stressed out. Hey, there's been a lot more stress these last few years, and we've seen that in our stores out here in California and in the West Coast. It used to be pain clearly was the number one reason people came to see us and love our products. But stress and anxiety is pretty much right there, 1A and 1B. This is also for people who can't sleep. And so, if you're in pain and you're stressed out, it's hard to sleep. They all kind of work together. And so it's funny that people used to always come to us before the world stopped spinning in March of 2020. And it was pain, and then other things like fibromyalgia, neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis, which are all kind of in that same pain bucket. And they would say, well, what are the side effects? Because we're so programmed this day and age to have side effects. And so, we said, the side effects are you might be less stressed and you might get have a better night's sleep. And so people always looked at me like I had corn growing out of my ears because we're used to side effects being a negative thing. Where actually, when you're eating healthy, which is what you're doing with this miracle plant, is just eating it, juicing it. The side effects are actually homeostasis, which is balance, which our body is always looking for. But sometimes as we get older, or if there's injuries, we need to add more things to our diet to help offset that inflammation and help our bodies operate just like we did when we were 7 years old, and we'd get that scrape and then wake up the next morning and the scrape was gone. So who also is this for? It's for people that want to lose weight. The average American put on between 19 to 29 pounds since March of 2020. It's the epidemic within the epidemic. So we also, we've noticed a lot of people look for help for that. So we created a special product just for that as well. So my goal is today to show you the way for you to feel great again and take control of your health. It's like that red pill, blue pill, and the red pill is the one, it's the rabbit hole by trying this product, trying this miracle plant for yourself and seeing that it helps with pain, stress, sleep. And then it's like, well, what else can I do? And that's when we talk about the 5 pillars of health, which we'll get into on another day, but it is the way. Here's some people that love our products. The wonderful pain relief from Sean T. Knocked out the pain from my fiance after he hurt his back and was up and moving in no time, which is great for your fiance's back, Sean T. But I bet he probably had to do some more honey-do lists around the house. So it's a kind of a good bad, right? So there you go. 101 CBD is my only place to shop for CBD. They are fairly priced and have my shipment within 2 days normally. And also appreciate the great sales promotions they often offer. Linda, glad to hear it. And then absolutely awesome product. I have chronic kidney pain, and CBD is the only thing that helps. Thank you for helping improve my quality of life. Tony, you betcha. Glad to hear it, brother. So here's what we got. So like I said earlier on, it is $405 what I'm asking you. Actually, no, I'm not. Today, we have a very special offer that actually just went live today for the very first time. This is what's called our greatest hits bundle, but we are adding 5 products. These are the 5 secrets that we talked about earlier. That Trim X there you see on the left, that's the one that you take when you normally get some type of, sugar cravings or what have you, to help curb those sugar cravings and balance those sugar levels and help with that metabolism. So we built that Trim X, which we've had only for about a year now, but this is the first time we've actually ever put it into our greatest hits bundle. So check that one out. That's included. Normally $77. The next one there is the Chill X. That's the one that helps with sleep and helps with anxiety and stress. That's my personal favorite one for stress. It's just a wonderful sublingual oil that you hold under your tongue for 5 minutes. The next one is Boost, which has been getting a lot of popularity. The research out of Oregon State showed that Boost that has the high CBGA, which is the mother cannabinoid, which is when the miracle plant comes out of the ground. That is what's called CBGA. And then when it turns into hemp, it turns into CBDA. But they've shown that CBGA and CBDA, a lot of letters, I know. But if you can look it up, Oregon State, CBDA, CBGA actually help people not contract COVID. That's exactly what it showed. They showed the research and how it actually protected the receptors, the ACE receptors, from contracting COVID. So a lot of people were really into that Boost X product. It's great for immunity. It's also great for focus. It's also great for energy. So people who like to get started off with a really nice boost in the morning, or if they have that afternoon slump, they'll take it then as well. The Alleviate is for pain. That's got a little organic white willow bark. All 4 of those products there you see are $77 all day long. People pay that every single day for these wonderful products. And then on the right there, you see the Raw Relief Roll-On, which is a 1,250 milligrams of raw miracle plant power. That one goes for $97 all day long in our stores and all day long on our website. But today I'm going to make a very, very special offer for you. You're going to get all 4 of those tinctures plus the roll-on for only $197. That is like a lot more than 48% off. It's more like 60 or 65% off. And I'm going to give you one more cheat code if you're ready for that. So are you ready for that? Yes, no, maybe, yeah, sure, why not? Here's the cheat code. Go to shaysoil.org. For the next 10 minutes, it's live, it's going to work. And you can go, when you go to shaysoil.org, you will see that you are able to, when you select that bundle that's right there for you that we just went live with today, you can actually subscribe for a monthly shipment. Now, when you do that, you get 30% off. And here's the secret cheat code. You don't have to stay on it. You can literally get the 30% off, which knocks it down from what it was, at $405 down to $197. It actually knocks it down to $137, that you can get $405 worth of our best top products that we offer mailed directly to your front door. So what you waiting for? Head over to go to www.shaysoil.org. Take advantage of this, pay it forward, share it with everybody. The offer is good for the next 10 minutes. After that, we'll see. But again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen, to learn a little bit about this miracle plant, and pay it forward, be a blessing to somebody. And those of you that take advantage of this, you are now a part of our mission to heal the world and reach 1 billion people by 2025. So thanks everybody for swinging by. My name is Justin Benton, owner of the Miracle Plant and 101 Hemp, and we will see you when we see you. And for those of you that are in the ClickFunnels Russell Brunson world, I can't wait to see everybody, because we're going to go over to the Unlock the Secrets tonight with my daughter Zoe, and my son Shay will be there as well. And I can't wait to see that. So everyone, take care. Thanks for swinging by, and we'll see you. We'll see you next time. We'll do more of these. All right. Adios. Peace.
I'm Larry Michigan. I'd like to invite you to join Jim, Marty, and me on our weekly podcast, The Deadhead Cannabis Show. Each week we explore the latest cannabis and jam band news and reminisce with other cannabis industry deadheads and jam band aficionados about the great musical acts that we've seen and heard. Check out a new episode every Monday at mjbulls.com or wherever you listen to podcasts.